Swadika, thank you for joining us right here on Newsline. We're broadcasting live on NBT, Radio Thailand FM 88, and also on NBT World. The date is December 21st, and it's a Monday. And you're with me, Sandra Han and Saha. Welcome to this Monday segment of Thailand Moves Forward. In our first story, Wat Bawaniwed Vihan extends the time for the public to pay homage to the remains of the late Supreme Patriarch until December 24th. The temple's assistant abbot, Prate Parayapimon, said Wat Bawan acting abbot, Somdet Prawanarat, has decided to extend the time to pay homage to the relics of the late Supreme Patriarch until December 24th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Afterwards, the second and third sets of his relics will be moved to Wat Thewa Sangkaram in Kanchanaburi Province and Wat Yana Sangwararam in Chonburi Province, respectively. The public can pay homage to the late Supreme Patriarch's ashes at Wat Bawaniwed every day. They can also pay homage to the first set of the relics at the temple on important Buddhist days and the country's major festivals. The late Supreme Patriarch's writings are given to those who come to pay homage to the relics at Wat Bawaniwed. Government spokesman Major General Sansan Galkamnod affirmed the government's serious stance in cracking down on illegal labor and slave labor, especially related to the fishing industry, as seen by the declining number of cases. On November 9th, a foreign news agency reported that a factory in Samut Sakhon province was using slave labor and that the local authorities had not taken any legal action against the factory, resulting in a misunderstanding. Following the report, people have been circulating information about banning Thai fishery products with a focus on frozen shrimp after it was reported that they were peeled by slave labor. The government spokesman claimed the information provided is one-sided and has not been shared responsibly, which has hurt the country's reputation. The government spokesman believes that Thailand neither condones nor supports slave labor and that the government is proceeding with the case legally in order to bring justice to all laborers who come to Thailand to work. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has ordered officials to take the utmost legal action against all those involved. On December 21st, Deputy Prime Minister and Defense Minister General Prawit Wongsuwan is set to provide the government view of the issue at Government House Press Center at 10 a.m. Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha has advised related officials in regard to important legislations and tasked the so-called Three Rivers with laying the framework for reconciliation. National Legislative Assembly, or NLA, President Phonphet Vichit Cholachai said Prime Minister General Prayut Chan-o-cha called a meeting of the Five Rivers, the informal name for the five different groups trying to reform Thailand's political structure. These five main authorities, headed by the National Council for Peace and Order, include the Constitution Drafting Commission, the Cabinet, the National Reform Steering Assembly, and the National Legislative Assembly. They met on December 18th to discuss the government's performance announcement. The Prime Minister had wanted all sides to prepare for the event, as well as follow up on all works related to national reform. The NLA will also meet with the National Reform Steering Assembly, or NRSA, to consider important reform legislation. The government is currently studying the details of legislation regarding the crackdown on corruption. The government might propose it as a new law or amend an older act to reaffirm the government's anti-corruption stance. In addition, the Prime Minister has ordered members of the Three Rivers to lay the framework for reconciliation. The National Savings Fund, or NSF, was established under the 2011 National Savings Fund Act as a way of promoting financial discipline among freelancers and workers not covered by other forms of social welfare. Here to talk about the details of the fund is Kun Sompon Jitbenthom, Secretary General of the NSF. Kun Sompon, สวัสดีค่ะ
Good morning to Sandy and good morning to everyone.
Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you.
Let me ask you about the Savings Fund. Now, since the Savings Fund was initiated in August 20th this year, more and more people have continued to apply for the NSF. Can you give us an estimate of how many people will have registered for the NSF in 10 years' time?
In 10 years' time? Okay. Let me talk about the current statistics first.
That's good.
Since we inception in August, about 3-4 months, we have about 400,000 members subscribed to our fund at the moment.
400,000.
But at it, yes. And if you look at the universe, out of the working force of Thailand, about 40 million is between 15 to 60 years old. We have 40 million people. And out of 40 million, there are about 25 million who are eligible to subscribe for National Savings Fund. So in 10 years' time, I would say we should have reached the membership about 5 to 10 million at least.
Okay. So 400,000 members at present.
At the moment, yes.
Right. So why is the fund becoming so popular with Thai people?
Oh, because these people are about 25 million that I talked about, the whole population of who are eligible. These people don't have any savings scheme. They're in need of a savings scheme in order to ensure that they have sufficient money to at least earn their living and when they retire. Right. Can have sufficient money to at least survive. Right. And that is the main reason why people really want to subscribe. And secondly, because this is a government scheme, and government provides certain incentives. For example, the government also contributes to the savings, top up the savings that people when people deposit with the savings fund. For example, if they are 15 years old and above, the government will top up 100% of their savings. Okay. But there is a ceiling that the maximum of 1,200 baht per year. This is the first incentive. The second incentive is that the government also provides guarantee to the return of their savings. Oh. In other words, if the National Savings Fund will use the money deposited by the members to invest to earn a return. But if we get a return less than the fixed 12-month fixed deposit of the commercial banks, the 5 big commercial banks, then the government will top up to ensure that at least the return that the savings earn to their savings is not less than the fixed 12-month fixed deposit. And thirdly, the fund also provides a voluntary basis, so the people can save whenever they want. In other words, if they skip some savings for some months or even some years, their membership still there. They will not cancel any membership because of the non-deposit.
So it sounds very...
three basic incentives that the government provides under the National Savings Fund Act. And the fourth, I think most important, is that if the money deposited in the members' account accumulated until the time when they want their retirement, and if they have enough money in their account and they earn the retirement pension, they will have received the pension payment until the end of their life. Meaning that even though the money in their account may be depleted completely, but the government still paying the pension, monthly payment to the member.
So it does sound very, very attractive. So yes. Tell us again, who exactly is eligible for this? Is just for freelancers and workers not covered by other forms of social welfare?
Yeah, basically that is correct. So, but to be more specific, mostly there are self-employed people, and to to cite you some examples of the people eligible is all the farmers who these people don't have any savings scheme, and also the taxi drivers, motorcycles, these kind of people who are eligible.
Okay. And you have extended the age range for applicants to above 60 years of age. Are there any special conditions for this new age range?
Yeah, this under another act that enacted and announced in the government gazette in September, and this act provides that any people who are 50 years or above can apply for membership for the period of 1 year, starting from September of this year until September of next year. And this condition is that the people older than 50 years old can apply and can contribute their savings up to 10 years before they can apply for their retirement pension.
Okay, great. And for those who have registered, how do they transfer money into their NSF account?
So, I'm sorry?
What are ways for the people who have registered to transfer their money into their NSF account? Simply through the bank?
Yes. So people can apply for membership at our agent. Right now we have 3 banks acting as our agent, namely the Bank for Agriculture and Agricultural Cooperatives, BAAC, and the Government Savings Bank, and also Krung Thai Bank. These 3 banks have altogether more than 3,700 branches. People can apply via any branch of these 3 banks.
Right.
And for their subsequent deposit, they can also go to any bank that I mentioned before to make deposit.
Okay, that sounds perfect. So the BAAC, the GSB, and KTB nationwide.
Okay.
So do you have any parting words for our viewers on savings?
Yes, I think the survey that we conducted many times show that right now the people in the working force don't have sufficient funds or sufficient savings to ensure their quality of living when they retire. So I think this is very critical in the years to come, and if people don't start saving now, they will be in trouble in the next 10 to 15 years.
Yes.
So I think I would like to encourage people to start saving, and not only via the National Savings Fund, but if they can have any alternative investment or alternative saving, I think they have to do it. And a lot of surveys also show that even though the people who have saving plan at the moment, they are not sure that they will have sufficient funds to earn their living when they retire. So I think right now we have to think seriously about saving. And National Savings Fund will be another alternative. If they are eligible, I think it's very worthwhile to deposit with, become member of National Savings Fund, because a lot of incentives provided by the government, and it's very secure because it's under the provision of the Act. So I think I would like to encourage to people who are eligible to apply now.
Thank you so much for speaking with us this morning and for your advice, Kun Samphan.
Thank you, Kun Annie, and thank you everyone for listening.
And that was Kun Samphan Jitbenthom, the Secretary General of the National Savings Fund, or NSF. On to other news. The National Reform Steering Assembly, or NRSA, is set to meet today to discuss ways to move the country's reforms forward. NRSA President Captain Tinapan Nakata has ordered the General Assembly to meet for 3 consecutive days from today until Wednesday at 9:30 a.m. The top agenda for the meeting is to discuss reform plans of the 11 standing committees following their submission to the NRSA President on December 9th. The discussions will proceed starting with the Political Reform Committee, then the Government Administration Reform Committee, the Justice Reform Committee, and finally the Sports, Arts, Culture, Religion, and Ethics Reform Committees. And that is the end of today's edition of Thailand Moves Forward. It's time for a quick break now, but first we'll have a look at the exchange rates and also the commodity prices.
Welcome to ASEAN, a community comprised of 10 countries, each with its unique culture and history, now unifying to bring added prosperity to the region. For centuries, each country remained independent, but now we are coming together to compete in the 21st century globalized world. ASEAN is bringing together more than 600 million citizens and a total land area of 4.4 million square kilometers, and is providing economic opportunities, trade, travel, and new educational possibilities. The combined GDP of all 10 ASEAN countries comes to a total of $2.4 trillion, which means the ASEAN entity ranks amongst the world's major economic powers. The future is here. Welcome to ASEAN, the community of opportunities. The Southeast Asia region is now becoming one.
Welcome back to Newsline, and the countdown has begun for the long-awaited formation of the ASEAN community, which will arrive in 10 days now. All 10 member countries are getting closer together and learning more about each other. So how do ASEAN countries see Thailand? NBT world correspondent Vanutsi Sinsap spoke to a couple of academics at Thammasat University who have done research into this question to get an understanding of how Thailand is perceived by two of Thailand's ASEAN neighbors.
Forming its political system at the moment, it's a good time to reflect on what we could improve on, and a good place to look for answers would be our neighbors to find out what they think of us. To get a sense of this, two researchers from Thammasat University Faculty of Journalism and Mass Communication, Assistant Professor Ruth Gomonbut and Ajahn Kesaraporn Thongphumpruksa, recently looked into how Thailand is portrayed in the media in Singapore and in Laos, and they came up with some illuminating results. Ajahn Kesaraporn looked into how the Singaporean media portrays Thailand, and she found that, generally speaking, Thailand is considered as a major ally in terms of doing businesses as a trading partner, and Singaporeans perceive Thailand as a vibrant country with a flourishing society and culture. However, since the research was carried out last year during the political upheaval, and as much as the outlook has remained quite positive, there are also a more disconcerting impression that Thailand is a politically unstable country.
We started collecting data back in 2014 from January to July. That's 6 months in total. I focused mainly on the Straits Times. The findings show that the political news about Thailand in Singapore media was largely negative, providing the image that we are a politically unstable country, which is not a surprise because during that time, we had the political unrest. However, Singaporean media still offers praise for Thailand for our economic potential, and they look at Thailand as one of the economic leaders of the region and their ally. In the areas of society and culture, Singaporean media views us positively, noting our unique and vibrant festivals like Songkran, as well as Thailand's entertainment industry. And interestingly, they especially appreciate our horror films.
Assistant Professor Ruth from Thammasat chose to look at the media in Laos and its general perceptions of Thailand, and there was a very positive image in a variety of areas. In fact, 4 out of 5, or 84% of the news stories about Thailand were found to be positive. Findings showed that stories related to Thailand will regularly appear on the front page of the local newspaper or in the international news section, and most of the news will be about the close alliance of the two countries.
After conducting the research, we now know how the journalists of foreign media see us, and we can use this information to improve ourselves, maintain a positive image, and present this view to the international community, so that where there were doubts, they may change the perception to a better view.
With this academic research, seeking different views about Thailand in the media of ASEAN countries, we can gain a greater understanding of ourselves and our standing. And the two professors suggest that Thailand use this revealing information to its benefit. Panosi Sinsap, NBT World.
Thank you to Kumpanuk for that report. And a total of 59 people went missing by 10 p.m. on Sunday after a landslide buried 33 buildings in an industrial park in the city of Shenzhen in South China's Guangdong province. More than 900 residents have been evacuated. The 7 people rescued from the landslide have been sent to hospitals and are not critically injured. Yang Feng, director of Shenzhen's Emergency Management Office, reported that the 33 buried buildings include 14 workshops, 2 office buildings, 1 canteen, 13 dormitory buildings, and 13 other buildings. More than 2,000 people, including firefighters, police, and sanitation workers, are involved in the rescue operations. Rescuers are battling unfavorable geological conditions to save those trapped under mud after the landslide struck the Hengtaiyu Industrial Park at around 11:40 on Sunday, leaving more than 100,000 square meters of debris at the site. So we wish the rescue operators luck, and we pray for the people who are buried there. So that is it for the edition of Newsline for today. For any comments or suggestions, please feel free to email them to us at newsline.nbt@gmail.com. You can follow us on our Facebook page by simply typing in NNT, and our website is thainews.prd.go.th/en. We're saying goodbye to you today with footage of some 300 Santa Clauses riding through Mexico City in a motorcycle caravan. For Newsline, I'm Sand Rahan in Saha. Have a good day.